الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. All praise is due to Allah, and may the best of peace and blessings be on Rasulullah, the messenger of Allah. O Allah, make us follow him in the best way. O Allah, gather us with him and with all the prophets and messengers in the highest level of Al-Jannah. Allahumma ameen. Last time we stopped at the which name of the names of Allah? Do you remember? Continue the presentation about Asma'ullah al-Husna, the beautiful names of Allah. And if you can remind me. We stopped at Ash-Shakur. Okay. Ash-Shakur. Okay. Al-Khaliq al-Bari al-Musawwir. We covered all of that. Al-Tahhar al-Wahhab al-Razzaq al-Fattah al-Alim. Qadir al-Basit al-Khafid al-Rafi' al-Mu'izz al-Mudhill. We covered all of these names. Al-Latif al-Khabir al-Halim al-Azim al-Ghafur al-Shakur. Al-Shakur, or the appreciative, the thankful, the grateful. Obviously Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives for the so limited acts of worship that we do, He gives unlimited reward subhanahu wa ta'ala. So for the actions that you do within 60 years or 70 years of your life, with all the sins, mixed with sins and shortcomings and this and that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives unlimited. Shakur, for the little that you do towards Him, He blesses you even more and continues to bless everybody. Those are some of the meanings of, shades of the meaning of Shakur, the grateful, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And today with Al-Ali, Al-Ali, the exalted, the most high, or the grand. The meaning of that is that He has the highest rank. No rank is above the rank of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and anybody and any rank is lower than His rank subhanahu wa ta'ala. He has the highest rank in everything. Min al-ulu, it's from the highness. Ali is from ala, from ulu. He is higher than anything which is opposite to being lower. He is higher in rank, higher in level, above everybody. And anything other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is low. Anything other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, even though like angels and malaika, they are so beautiful in nature, they do not, they are different than humans, but yet they are lower, much lower than the rank of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They need for their existence, the higher existence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to continue to exist. We have knowledge, Allah has knowledge. We have sight, basar, Allah has basar and sight. But all of that of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it's much higher than ours. It's way higher than ours. Like you got brain. Just to give you an example, we got brains. Animals got brains too. But the rank of our brains is way higher than that of animals. Even though they do basic processes or you could say sophisticated process, but if you compare it to the human mind, there is no comparison. Again, there is no comparison between our ilm, knowledge, tamyiz, understanding, all of that, and that of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in His attributes, in His existence, in His powers, in everything that has to do with Him, in His that, His essence. He is higher than anybody. Al-Ali. That is some shades of the meaning of Al-Ali. So many times in our idrak, our recognition of things, or the cognitive power that we got could be affected by outside things. Could be affected by our shahwa, by our desires. Women, for example, this is a good explanation for that. Many times we have some rules in Islam that will give man certain jobs that will not give it to the woman. Some people misunderstand that. They said woman is lower in rank or lower in mind, which is wrong. Because as we discussed before, fi asl al-taklif, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala kallaf, or hired, or give the message not only for men, ya ayyuha alladhina amanu, men and women. They both ask to pray, they both ask to seek knowledge, they both ask to do good deeds, and they are both going to be held accountable for that. The thing is, maybe the outside factors or the associated factors that could affect some cognitive power of women could play its role, like emotions. Doesn't mean the mind or the power of understanding is lower, no. But it has some kind of resistance. You know, women, they know, they can understand, they can solve the most complicated equations and everything, but the thing is they have emotion, they have other powers that could affect this thing. So human being in general, but I was giving women as an example, but human being in general, you might have power of ghadab, for example, the power of anger. That's another power that could control us. Allah said, وَلَمَّا سَكَتَ عَنْ مُوسَى الْغَضَبِ. When Sayyidina Musa was angry, after he went to meet with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and then he came back, he found the good people, his followers, somebody molded a calf, golden calf, and they worshipped him, al-ijl. So he was so angry that he said, يعني أخذ برأس أخيه يجره إليه. He was mad with Sayyidina Harun. How could you allow this? How could you tolerate this? Why didn't you advise them? So Allah said, وَلَمَّا سَكَتَ عَنْ مُوسَى الْغَضَبِ. When anger literally remain or become silent, anger was overcoming, or you know, Sayyidina Musa was taken over Sayyidina Musa completely. So this power of the human being could affect him, even if he could be the wisest of the wisest. But when he gets angry, when she gets angry, or when we are in love, for example, or when somebody gives us a glad tiding, something I've been waiting forever, I promise, I give them the best of promises. That's why people said, or some maxim said, do not take any action when you are angry. Do not give any promises when you are extremely excited, so happy, because you will give, you know, so high promises and so on while you are excited, while you are, but it's not gonna, you'll not be able to fulfill that. So us as humans, we are subject to so many powers that could affect even our rank. You see somebody when he is angry, when she is angry, what happened? Many of them, it depends on the level of anger. Many of people who are under this power could behave like animals, or even worse than animals. The human nature of them is gone. So Allah Azza wa Jalla is Al-Ali. He is above all of that. His power of ilm, his knowledge, he's perfect in everything, in such a way that no outside factors, no outside things could resist that. This is some of the shades of the meaning of Al-Ali. You could see some references for that name in those surahs down there with those numbers. Feel free to stop me at the end of my explanation of each name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala if you have anything to add or anything to ask, inshallah. So this is the name of Allah Azza wa Jalla, Al-Ali. Moving to the next name, Al-Kabir. Or before we move, because we said part of our study for the names of Allah is that it involves some kind of trying to be divine, trying to be نتمثل صفات الله, try to live by our best to get as close as possible to perfection. This is going to happen only when we try to be like divine. Allah is Al-Kabir, Allah is Al-Ali, the previous one. He's higher than anything. His rank is higher than any other rank. So let's be also high in such not the bad meaning of being high in such a sense of higher than anything that's not fit for a human being, anything that's not fit for a believer, anything that's not fit for somebody with that knowledge, with that iman, with that faith. Be higher than our desires, above our desires. Be higher than the other powers, the power of ghadab, the power of shahwa or desire. Be high. So this is how probably we can implement that. Al-Kabir, the next name, could be translated as the most great, or the greatest. Al-Kabir, Dhul Kibriya, he is the one that has all the pride, the glory. Kibriya or glory or pride, it refers to Kamal al-Dhat, perfection of the essence. When it comes to the most common meaning for it, if you say Al-Kabir or Kabir to any Arab person, it refers to big, something that's big. But actually, al-kabir, it refers to the meaning, to the sense of kamal al-dhat. The essence of this that is perfect. Again, we'll always talk about wujudullah, or the existence of Allah. In what sense? In the sense of His existence. Wujudullah Azza wa Jalla kamil, perfect. And we discussed this before. How the existence of Allah is perfect? Let me ask you this question, because I repeated it with a few names before. Allah has existence, we have existence. How different existence of Allah or wujudullah is, or different than our existence?
He's forever. He doesn't fall asleep. He's, when we say Hayyu Qayyum,
Right.
and all those
So that's the second part of it, which is the continuation of existence is not interrupted. He does not die, he does not move from a stage of life to another stage, continuous. And the first one is the beginning of that existence. He was not like non-existence and then he needed to exist, like anybody else other than Allah. So the beginning of existence, the beginning of coming to existence, that's for creatures. But for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He has no beginning. He does exist. Wujuduhu, it doesn't need any other existence for Him to exist. Different from us. That's the beginning. And then the continuation is exactly what you explained, Dr. Rubina, is that He continues to exist. Nothing of anything that could affect our existence, of sleep, of death, of anything like that could affect Him. His existence is complete. So this is part of his pride, or his kibriya, or his perfection of existence. Kamal al-wujud. As we mentioned, azalan wa abadan, in the beginning and in the end, it's perfect. Doesn't have a beginning, it doesn't have an end, it does not interrupt in the middle. It's not, it doesn't decrease at any point. When we sleep, when we get in coma, when we are diseased, when somebody is get some mental disease or something. No, the existence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is always the best. That is one of the meanings of Al-Kabir. Now, Al-Hafidh, the next name, Al-Hafidh, or the preserver, the guardian, Al-Hafidh, from Hafidha, to protect, to guard, to preserve. Al-Hafidh, hifd, or maintenance, or preservation, or could refer to إدامة وجود الموجودات وإبقائها. He is the one that, in Arabic we refer to al-aghziya al-mahfudha, the preserved foods, or the foods that are in the canned foods. So it's kind of protected. They have some chemical additions to it to continue to exist for a while. So Allah is Hafidh. It is Him who causes al-mawjudat, all that does exist, to exist and to continue to exist. He maintains that. So He is Hafidh. يحفظ كل شيء. He runs everything. He maintains everything. He keeps everything going, like animals, like plants, and so on. And you see, this is one of the meaning. The other meaning is that He keeps opposite things there, or He keeps things that are opposite to each other, that are in contradiction with each other. He maintains them and keeps them, like we have in the same world. We have the fire, we have the water, we have the day, we have the night, we have the heat, we have the cold, we have everything, and nothing, overcome, or like in the same even country here. I think a couple of days ago there was some kind of snow up there. I forgot, it was somewhere up North Dakota or something. It was bad, snowstorm or something. And up here it's so hot. Today was above 90. So even though there's no if you want to get an area air conditioned or something, you have to get it closed, or you have to at least have some kind of fan or this curtain air, whatever they call it, on the door. So it has to be sealed, it has to be covered somehow, otherwise it will not work. as it's supposed to. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keeps the universe is open. We have the water, we have the air, we have the fire, we have the hot, the snow and everything, but everything is kept in the right amount and everything because He is Hafiz. The minute we intervene, we will see all of these disasters that government of the United States, governments, different governments of the world who care about environment will now talk about the heating, warming, the global warming and stuff. And they are talking about in the last 100 years, a couple of days ago I was listening to it says that the sea level in New York and in the eastern coast rose 1 foot within the last 100 years. And it's expected to keep rising. That's because the snow is melting, and the snow is melting is mainly because of the global warming, and global warming is happening because of our intervention in the world through all of these, factories and gas emissions and all of these things. So Allah is Hafiz, He keeps everything fine. And everything is really like perfect. They were saying that if it keeps going like that, countries that are lower than the sea level, like Bangladesh for example, I think it will cause, I forgot the number, I think 30 million or something like that to be evacuated. It will cause disasters because we play with the hifz of Allah, we play with how Allah is preserving everything. We intervene, so the hifz is not as perfect. He continues to take care of the universe, but He also put us in charge of. He made it livable for us, and He make us Khalifa to succeed on generations in this earth, and also to take care of it. So this is one of the meaning of Al-Hafiz. Al-Hafiz could be understood in so many ways. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keeps all the generations. Human generation, for example, the human species, and all species. In what sense? In making this attraction between the male and female. Try to think about it logically for a second. If this attraction is not there, who would take all the pain? Which woman will take all the pain if this thing is not there? Let's assume that the woman will not need the man or emotionally think of a man. The man would not emotionally think of a woman or anything. Who, if عاطفة الأمومة or maternity, the love to be mother and stuff, if it's not there, who would care to, put her life on the stake for a new baby to come or something? If that thing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put in the heart and mind and the nature of the woman is not there. If that thing is not put in the man, the love or the attraction towards woman, if it's not there. So Allah, one of the ways He keeps the human species, all other species, you see, even in animals travel and even fight, they fight to death. Males would fight to death for females and stuff like that. That's one of the ways of hifz of Allah Azza wa Jalla, or the Allah Azza wa Jalla being preserver, keeper of all and everything that does exist. And it could be again, Shaykh al-Ghazali in the book, as we are explaining, it could be understood in so many ways how Allah is maintaining the world, how Allah is maintaining the existence in general. Al-Hafiz. And He protects, definitely He protects man, He protects believers against their enemies, He protects man against his fears and so many other meanings of that, of the protection. Al-Muqit. Al-Muqit, the sustainer, the maintainer, the nourisher. Al-Muqit, hifz is to maintain in general, to maintain when it comes to existence, life, and everything. Al-Muqit is from qut, which is the provision, which is mainly like the food or nourishment in the first place. From qut, Al-Muqit. In what sense He is Muqit? Why Allah Jalla will, like He say, Ar-Razzaq? Anybody remembers the meaning of Ar-Razzaq? It's the provider, yes, but I mean it's deeper into the meaning. It refers to 3 things or 4 things. Allah being provider, being Razzaq, He is the creator of rizq, of whatever is being provided, right? He is the creator of those who would receive the rizq. He is the one that makes the rizq, the provision, reaches those who will receive it or who will take it. That's number 3. Number 4, He will make them capable of using it. Okay? That's 4 of these things together will refer to the meaning of Ar-Razzaq. You can give me $100, but I'm in North Korea, where if I say, probably, I'm assuming, I don't know, it's not a fact. If they saw $1 with me, they would probably put me in prison. Right? So you could give me something precious, but in this time, I'm not going to be able to use it. So that's not rizq, actually. Right? You could give me 200 ounces or pounds of gold when I'm in the middle of the desert and I'm starving to death. That's a fortune, but I don't need it because I'm not going to eat silver or gold or something. But rizq is to provide. He is to be able to provide something and provide it for those who are receiving it, and to make them capable of receiving it, and to make them capable of using it. Al-Muqit refers mainly to Al-Qut, and Al-Qut again, you know the staples, when they refer to certain grains as being, do they call it the stable or essential staples if I'm not wrong? You know what I'm talking about, like the wheat and staples, right? They call it staples as essential foods, especially in times of war or whatever. They look at those. They would not care much about vegetables, fruits, whatever. They will call it the staples. Look mainly at the staples of the main commodities that will be needed, like sugar, like grain, because that can be used for multiple things, to make flour, to make bread, and all of that. So that is, in Arabic, is the main thing. Like, he is the one capable of, the one who creates al-aqwat, or the, like in insan, for example, it needs basic nourishment. And then we have luxurious nourishment. You can get, fruits or whatever, but you have basic thing for you to continue to exist. You have, as far as the food, for the body to exist. And then for the heart, he's the one that provides it with the knowledge, the one that provides it with ilm, the one who provides it with what gives it life. Because we have life for the body and we have life for the heart, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who nourishes and sustains and maintains the body by providing the food for it or feeds it, and the one who provides the nourishment for the hearts as well. Now, Al-Muqit also could refer to the one that controls everything, and that happens through qudra and ilm, capability or capacity and knowledge. As Allah said, وَكَانَ اللَّهُ عَلَى كُلِّ شَيْءٍ مُقِيتًا. Indeed, Allah over everything is muqita. Could refer to like He is controlling everything, He is running everything, or in control of everything. This is the meaning of Al-Muqit. Al-Muqit. And then the next name is Al-Hasib. Al-Hasib, the reckoner, the accountant, or the one who holds others accountable. Al-Hasib. Al-Hasib. Al-Hasib also, it refers to Hisab. Here the translation is from Hisab, the one who holds others accountable. But when you say Hasbi Allah wa ni'mal wakeel, sufficient for me is Allah, and He is the best trustee of trustees. So Al-Hasib is the one that suffices. The one that, if he is on the side of somebody, it's sufficient, it's enough. If, again, as I'm translating and stuff, if you have a better word, please help me with that. If somebody is enough for you, somebody will suffice you, that's going to be the Hasib for you. If I got this, Hasbuk, enough for you. So that is one of the meanings of Al-Hasib. And kana hasbul insani wa kafihi. If he is there, he is enough for him. And this is something that could not exist for anybody other than him. Because anything could not, stay by itself. It needs something else. It's not sufficient, it's not self-sufficient by itself to exist, to continue to exist. Now, some people might look at the reasons or the causes that Allah created. You say, well, I don't need God. I have the food, I have the plants, I have this and that. Well, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who gives you all of that. Some people, because they don't see Allah, maybe they don't feel Allah, because their heart is not set up in the right way, they believe more in the tangible things. Well, we have the food, we have the nature. That's something we see in nature. It just happens like that. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who makes all of that happen. Is the one who provides, who creates the food, who creates the sun, who creates all of that we might depend on. He is Al-Hasib subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that also is could refer to from Hisab as the reckoner and the accountant, to hold everybody accountable, and to make Hisab for everybody, to make everybody accountable and look at their account on the day of judgment. Next name is Al-Jalil. Al-Jalil. Jalil is the majestic, the revered, and from Jalala, from majesty. He is the majestic. الموصوف بنعوت الجلال. ونعوت الجلال هي العز والملك والتقدس والعلم والغنى. A king is being always thought of as his pride. He is higher than others. He is he has the glory, his highness. And so Jalil refers to all of these references of ghina. He is self-sufficient. He is capable of everything. He is above everything. His pride is higher than everything. So the one that gets all of that together is Al-Jalil. Al-Jalil. He is such a majestic and such revered in such a way that he is perfect in all of that. Sifatul Al-Jalal. A human being could be partially described as Jalil, in such a way of being respected person. Somebody is, Arab people also say it, he's Jalil, Rajul Jalil, a man that's so much respected, so much, needed or something. But to be completely Jalil, being higher than anybody, being perfect in all the attributes, having all the pride and all the kingdom and all the highness and all the knowledge and all the richness, and that will be only for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because His that, His essence is perfect, is higher than any other that, and His sifat also, the attributes of this that is complete and perfect. Now, and then the next name is Al-Karim. Al-Karim, the generous. Al-Karim from Karam, or generosity. الذي إذا قدر عفا. Karim refers linguistically if somebody gets in control or in a place to punish or to make something bad, no, he would forgive, he would let go. From a position of strength, that's Karam, that's Karim. وإذا وعد وفى. And when he promises, he fulfills the promise. That's Kareem, generosity. وَإِذَا أَعْطَى زَادَ. When he gives, he increases. It's not like he's tight. Yes, he will give 100. No, he will give more. أعطى, when it comes to giving, it will be an abundance. زاد على منتهى الرجاء. وإذا أعطى زاد على منتهى الرجاء. He will give more than expected. He will give more than is hoped or expected. That's karam. وَلَا يُبَالِي كَمْ أَعْطَى. He doesn't care how much he gives. Many times or sometimes somebody gives you something, but they are so tight that they are looking into it, they are counting, they keep reminding you. That's not karam, even though they give, and they give a lot. But, Al-Karim is the one who gives. He doesn't care how much he gives. He gives more than expected. He doesn't care. وَلِمَنْ أَعْطَى. He doesn't care to whom he gives. وَإِنْ رُفِعَتْ حَاجَةٌ إِلَى غَيْرِهِ لَا يَرْضَى. When people ask of someone else other than him, a generous person would not, a regular, average person would think of it as it's better than when my friend was in need for something, he doesn't come to me. Because he thinks of whatever he gives to others as decrease from, decrease of his time, of his money, of his whatever. A Kareem, a generous person, no. when he knows that his friend or someone else goes or went to another person, in the time that he knows he can fulfill that, he will feel sad. I could have done this for you. So this is Kareem. Why? Because he loves to give. And when this power of giving was taken away from him, even though he was capable of doing it, he or she will feel sad. That's Kareem. Now, وَإِذَا جُفِيَ عَاتَبَ وَمَا اسْتَقْصَى. When something bad has happened to him, when somebody gives him a hard time or something, he will blame, but he will not go over all the details. Like he will show that hurts me or that. So a Kareem would not, no, that happens. We have to sit down and all the details, and you did that and tit for tat. It's not Karam. Karam, usually generosity in Arabic, and I guess in most languages, people would understand it in the sense of what? Finances. Karam is finances. But actually generosity and Karam is a very comprehensive characteristics that has to do with forgiveness, giving in general, giving, letting go. When you have the power, you are, even when you are wronged by someone, you do not keep going to the deeper details of blaming and so on. وَلَا يُضَيِّعُ مَنْ لَاذَ بِهِ وَالْتَجَى. And he does not, if somebody resorts to him, they would not be lower than their expectation. They will always be up to their expectations. No. فَمَنْ اجْتَمَعَ لَهُ جَمِيعَ ذَلِكَ لَا بِالتَّكَلُّفْ فَهُوَ الْكَرِيمُ. Whoever all of that happens to be existing in him without exerting effort, because you could say, you don't want to give, but you keep remembering the ayat, the hadith. It's not a nature in you, but you want to you're trying to go against yourself because you are a believer in that. That is going to be something good, but it doesn't mean you are Kareem. It's not Karam. Karam, when all of that happens and it comes from somebody who loves to do so, it's his nature, that becomes Kareem then. ولا يجتمع ذلك بشكل مطلق يعني. And that's not going to happen in the full form of all of these things that we mentioned, إلا لله سبحانه وتعالى, except for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You see him, he's in full power in causing the world to vanish, removing all the tyrants. Those who do not accept him, he could just cause them to cease to exist, cause them to die. But he doesn't do any of that. He doesn't. When the person makes all the sins of the world, all including even shirk billah azza wa jalla, and the worst of the worst, and then he comes to Allah sincere from his heart, while alive before that, Allah accepts, Allah lets go, and he never blames or anything. لو بلغت ذنوبك عنان السماء ثم لقيتني لا تشرك بي شيئا يعني لقيتك بقرابها مغفرة. If your sins will pile up on each other to reach the level, and you come to me with no shirk in your heart, and you come to me with, ثم استغفرتني, you ask forgiveness, غفرت لك, I'll forgive all of that. ولا أبالي, this is the karam in here, and I don't care. The hadith mentions, Allah says in the hadith, the divine hadith, if you happen to have all the sins of the world piling on top of each other, just for you, that's your sins, up to the level of the sky, if it's going to be tangible, every sin like a stone, and then stone above stone, that's like mountains of sins. If that is the case, and you ask forgiveness, just ask forgiveness of Allah sincerely, غفرت لك على ما كان ولا أبالي, I forgive all of that, regardless of how big it is. ولا أبالي, and I do not care. It's not like much for me. That's karam, because he's al-Kareem subhanahu wa ta'ala. Al-Kareem. Then the next one is al-Raqib. Al-Raqib, the watchful, the observer. Al-Raqib. Al-Raqib refers to Al-Alim and Al-Hafiz. He has all the knowledge, some kind of supervisor, or watchful, he watches everything. That's because his knowledge is full. Nothing escapes his knowledge. It's full watchfulness, full observing, full sight. He knows. He knows even what's hidden. He knows our intention. He knows our secrets. He knows what we are going to think of tomorrow, that we ourselves do not know it now. His knowledge is complete. That's knowledge. And now Hafiz, and his power of preservation is complete in such a way that nothing can escape his knowledge. nothing can escape his watchfulness and raqaba, and that's continuous. It's not just for a full time 8 hours a day, it's day and night. That is the meaning of Ar-Raqib. Ar-Raqib. Watching over everybody all the time. It comes, as we mentioned, comes down to al-ilm wal-hifz, or the knowledge and the preservation of the guardianship, and it's continuous. Now, and knowing that the Prophet ﷺ was referring to the meaning of al-ihsan, when he was asked what is Islam, what is iman, what is ihsan, he said Islam is the 5 things. Iman is the 6 articles of faith, believe in Allah, His messengers to the end. And then he said al-ihsan, which is the level of perfection. It's not only to do the 5 things, it's good. 5 pillars of Islam. Actually,
Islam is 6 things. What is the 6? Islam is the 5 things.
yes.
Iman is the 6 things.
Yes, the 6 articles of faith, which is al-iman billah, to have faith in Allah, help me. Wa malaikatihi, His angels. Wa kutubihi, His scriptures. Wa rusulihi, messengers. Wal yawm al-akhir, the last day, the day of judgment. Wal qadar, khayrihi wa sharrihi wa murrihi, or the predestination, qadar of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to believe in the qadar. So believing in those 6 things, those are the articles of faith. But again, it doesn't mean that Islam is only, if you do this, you lie, for example, you're still a good Muslim, you steal. No, Islam is much more than this, but those are, it's not the 5 things to make you a Muslim, it's the 5 pillars of Islam, the 5 essential things of Islam. Pillars or poles of a building, like those 2 poles, are not everything in the building, but if you take 1 pole, probably the ceiling will come down, but it doesn't mean that the poles or the pillars are everything. You have the lights, the ceiling, the fans, so many other things. So al-ihsan, he said, أن تعبد الله كأنك تراه, is to worship Allah. Perfection of ihsan is to worship Allah as if you see Him, being watchful to Him subhanahu wa ta'ala. When you see Him in everything, not with those eyes, you see Him in the food you're eating. That's why we say Bismillah, Alhamdulillah, at the beginning and the end. You see Him in the health that He continues to give you every day. A person was taken to a physician, an old person, 80 or something, because he had a problem with the urine passage or something. He was not able to use the bathroom. He was taken to the physician, and the physician, kind of made a surgery for him. And he was successful in everything. As he was coming out, he was crying. He said, "Are you in pain or anything?" His children. He said, "No, but I have been using it for close to 80 years now with no problem whatsoever, not even knowing that it's something, I didn't even feel it. And now with the little problem, it was causing me all of that pain, and now see how we are grateful to that physician who solved this problem. Allah has provided us all of that from the beginning. So, أن تعبد الله كأنك تراه, to worship Allah as if you see Him. You see Him in everything around you. You see Him, you feel His sifat, attributes, not the that. Obviously, you don't see Him in the sense of the essence or that, but you feel Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you have faith in everything that He has, as if He is in front of you. كأنك تراه. That's a higher level. But فإن لم تكن تراه, if you cannot see Him, فإنه يراك. Get to the second level, it's still good, but it's not as high as the first one. المكاشفة. The Sufis call it al-mukashafa. As if you live in the divine, the world, like angels. Angels, part of what makes it easy for them is their nature, definitely, but they're with Allah. إن الذين عند ربك لا يستكبرون عن عبادته. Indeed, those who are with your Lord, referring to the angels, do not get arrogant to worship Him, because they deal with Allah directly. They see the kingdom of Allah. For us, we try our best to get to that level, which is al-mukashafa, or the higher level. If we cannot get to that level, we can probably at least stick to the second level, which is فَإِن لَمْ تَكُنْ تَرَى. If you can't make it to this higher level, فَإِنَّهُ يَرَاكَ. You know that He is watching over you, or watchfulness, surveillance camera. If you have a boss over your head, you will definitely not going to waste time. You're going to do the works, the job perfect, because somebody's watching. The camera is there. So فَإِن لَمْ تَكُنْ تَرَى فَإِنَّهُ يَرَاكَ. You know that He is watching over you all the time, which is still a high rank, but the first one is the higher. So it's always a matter of practice. You practice, you try to purify the heart. The heart is the machine to do all of that, or the tool. That, does not come with the hands in prayer or the eye. I mean, all of these will, as we explained, I think, in one lecture before, the heart is the king, and all the limbs will be follower of that king. If the king, so Allah said in the hadith, إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يَنْظُرُ إِلَى صُوَرِكُمْ, Allah does not look at your shapes, how you look, all of that. وَلَا إِلَى أَجْسَامِكُمْ, your bodies, وَلَكِنْ يَنْظُرُ إِلَى قُلُوبِكُم, but He does look at your heart. What's in there? That's a lifelong discovery issue. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help us by reviewing the Quran. He said, إِنَّ فِي ذَلِكَ لَذِكْرَى لِمَنْ كَانَ لَهُ قَلْبٌ. Indeed, in this Quran, there will be a reminder if the person has a heart. أَوْ أَلْقَى السَّمْعَ, or أَلْقَى السَّمْعَ is to throw the hearing, which is like really listen attentively, get the message, try to get the message of the Quran. Worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through all the things that He mentioned in the Quran. Not only the prayers, the performing the prayers is the most important, but reflect on everything. One of the ways to worship Allah is to reflect on His names. How He is Raqib, watching over everything. Al-Khaliq.
On our senses in a way that Allah recommended, like using our eyes,
Yes.
our hearing, our thinking, because these are all inputs towards the heart.
That's correct. Use those to input the right thing, and use the heart that process all of these inputs the right way. Doesn't mean you're gonna live in a cage or away from the world. No, you would live the world, but you would be able to see everything and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, everything around you, in your children, that how many blessings He give you through these children, your job, in your accepting Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as God. Raditu billah. Every day in the morning you say, Raditu billah. I accept Allah being my Lord. That will not happen if somebody is complaining. Complaining about their health, how they look like, their aqdar, whatever is happening to them, the job, the money it's coming. There is the whatever, the family they grow up in, the society they are. If the person is complaining like this, that means he's not happy with decisions of Allah or plan of Allah to him, or how he is. So let's be in full satisfaction of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, number one. And so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, رَضِيَ اللَّهُ عَنْهُ وَرَضُوا عَنْهُ. We gain the blessing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as the final step of that. Ar-Raqib, the watchful. Then, what time is it now? Okay, still have some time. So Al-Mujib, one of the beautiful names. All the names are beautiful. The responsive, the responder to the prayer, the answerer, the one who answers. From ijaba, from ajaba, is to answer. Al-Mujib. Al-Mujib. الذي يعني يعطي مسألة السائلين أو يقيم مسألة السائلين بالإسعاف ودعاء الداعين بالإجابة. When somebody asks of him, he answers. When somebody is in need for something and he gives. وضرورة المضطرين بالكفاية. Somebody is in need, is in dire need for something, he suffices them. He gives them. بل ينعم قبل النداء, or rather he gives even before asking. He gives us life. Did we ask him for life? He gives us, as I always say, the father and the mother and all of these things that we got even before we learn how to talk. We didn't ask, oh Allah, make me talk. Oh Allah, make me a human being. Oh Allah, give me. We did not ask. So even before we learn how to ask, He gives us. That's Al-Mujib. Yujib قبل السؤال. Like He knows this is a need of this person. So He provides him with that need without even this person asking. This body needs nourishment in the womb of the mother. So it's like calling, as if there is a call, even if it's not done by the tongue or something. There is a need which is kind of speaking. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala responded without even anybody asking for that. Al-Mujib. Al-Mujib. How could we do it? Let's respond. First, respond to Allah. Istajibu la rabbikum. Istajib, which is you respond. Allah is saying in the Quran, respond to your Lord. Istajibu lillahi wa lirrasul. Respond to Allah and His Messenger. إِذَا دَعَاكُمْ لِمَا يُحْيِيكُمْ. When He calls you to what gives you life. Allah said in the Quran, respond to Allah and His Messenger when He calls you to what gives you life, which is this deen. Gives you life. The eternal life in the hereafter, the real life in here. Because Allah sometimes in the Quran, in the Prophet, in the Hadith, will call a believer, مثل الذي يذكر الله والذي لا يذكر الله مثل الحي والميت. The example of one mentioned remembers Allah, and the one who does not is like the living and the dead. So it's a true life. A true life when you are connected with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you are alive. Otherwise, it's just like living by instinct. It's like living to fulfill this and that, not really connected with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not having the real life. Al-Mujib. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also told us to respond in the nicest way, even for those who are asking us, وَأَمَّا السَّائِلَ فَلَا تَنْهَرْ. Somebody is asking you, those who beg or ask, فَلَا تَنْهَرْ. Do not be, do not talk bad to them or take it nice to them, because su'al fihi dhul, is the person becomes humble to ask, and when somebody asks, he has some hopes in you, has some expectations in you. So at least good word. If you are not going to give, at least a good word. Now, when Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he was the best to respond. He would respond to anybody who would invite him, even though he's so busy, he had so many things. He's married, he has children, grandchildren. He's responsible for, he has those who have no place to go, the homeless, he's taking care of them. A janaza is there, leading the prayers, having wars, treaties with enemies. A Quran is coming to him, teaching those who are sending to other tribes. Yet if somebody invite him for something, he would accept. He would say, لو دعيت إلى كراع أو كراع لأجبت. If somebody invites me for a leg of goat or something, which is really something humble. وَلَوْ أُهْدِيَ إِلَيَّ ذِرَاعٍ. If something also minor giving a gift to me, لَقَبِلْت. I would accept. Now, Al-Mujib. Maybe we can stop here, inshallah. Continue. What number is that? Anybody gets 44? Is that the second session or third session? The third? So we're going like, what, 12, 13 names every time? I hope we could finish before Ramadan, inshallah. Okay, so if you have any comment or question or anything, this is the time to put it, inshallah.
I still don't understand the difference between Islam, Iman, and Ihsan. So is it like the first step is Islam, then what's the difference between Muslim and Mu'min?
Okay. I give you there are ways that you can really use this in place of that. You can say a Muslim to refer to a believer, a mu'min, and a mu'min to refer to a Muslim, but not talking about this. We're talking about when they are in one ayah, for example. So obviously they would not refer to the same thing. They would have differences. When it comes to that, Islam would refer to the actions or the external actions of Islam. Faith or Iman, mu'min would refer to the internal dimension, which is faith in the heart, and Iman. Nobody can judge this, nobody can know about this but Allah. But as far as Islam, we can say, a judge, for example, if somebody is Muslim or not Muslim, for anything, for inheritance, for example. Inheritance, a Muslim, if a father is Muslim, the son is non-Muslim, no inheritance, or the opposite. So if a case like this is taken to the court, Islamic court, to look into it. So how would he judge a person as a Muslim or not? Or for a case of marriage or whatever, the judge a human being need to look at that. They will judge the judgment, or have the judgment based on actions. Do you have the faith, shahada? Yes, I bear witness, whatever. But that does not mean he's a believer. Nobody ever can judge whether somebody else is a believer or not. We can probably see some signs, but as a judgment that he is a believer or true believer, Allah knows about that. But we can definitely see some signs that tells us he is a believer or not. So, in this sense, which one is wider than the other? Can we say, which one of that would be correct? Every Muslim, everybody who got Islam, got Iman, is that true? Is every Muslim mu'min? Is every Muslim mu'min? Is that true? It's related to the heart. So if somebody is doing the actions, but the heart is not, like the hypocrites at the time of the Prophet, they were doing all the actions with the Prophet, but the heart void. Islam is not there. So, not every Muslim is a mu'min, but every mu'min is a Muslim. Every true believer is definitely a believer and a Muslim as well. But not every Muslim is a true believer. Is that hard to get? Islam is the actions, the external actions. If you do certain actions, you become Muslim. Many people come. Obviously, it's the most important one is the Shahada. When they say the Shahada, you take it. It could happen that somebody is coming to, he's working for, he is pretending to be a Muslim. So for us, he is a Muslim. You can never say he is non-Muslim. Like this person, somebody in the war, and he killed a lot of Muslims, and finally Khalid ibn Walid got him. I think it was Khalid, I think. He got him. And when he was like, he said, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, I am a Muslim. He killed him. Then the Rasul was so mad. And his face turned red. He said, how could you kill him after he became a Muslim? Ya Rasulullah, he just... No, it was a Rasul. Yeah, it happened. So he said, you did it? You did it after he said the Shahada? He said, Ya Rasulullah, it's obvious. He said it just to protect himself. Did you open his heart to see what's in there? So we just judge as far as Islam by what we see. He say, I'm Muslim. What can we say? He is Muslim. But for Al-Iman, that's the business of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because it's in the heart and nobody can tell what's in the heart. Yes, there could be some qara'im or signs you see from the person. That's why when you say mu'min nahsabuhu, we think, we hope, or we think he is a good Muslim, she is a good Muslim. Like shahada also, when somebody dies as shaheed, we say we think nahsabuhu shaheed. Nobody can judge, because shahada, somebody to die as shaheed, he should have the good action and dying for the cause of Allah and the good intention as well. Because somebody could do that, but not for the sake of Allah, then we cannot know that for sure. Allah would know. That's why we say we call him shaheed nahsabuhu. We hope. Iman, the same thing. But for Islam, no, it's by action. You do that, you'll be judged as a Muslim.
But we can't judge another Muslim by their action and talk about that, right?
No, I'm not, maybe I misused the word. Not judging in the sense of, going to tell, include people to Islam, exclude people from Islam. No, but I mean when it's needed. Like a Muslim girl is bringing somebody, I love him and I need to get married to him. Bringing it to the Imam. I need to make the judgment in this case. Are you Muslim? So, could you say the Shahada? Or he said, I'm Muslim, khalas, that's it. So we need to know, not to judge in the sense of pointing fingers to others, but to know that he is Muslim, so he would inherit, or he is Muslim, so that, anything that Islam is needed for. So we bury him in our funeral, in our cemetery or something, anything that needs Islam. So we need to know, so we can decide based on that. Yes?
So, names of Allah, if there's like a specific name or need we have, can you just keep on repeating that name with that hope, or you have to use it in God?
Well, there's nothing to prevent that, but because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as we quoted the ayah before we discussed Asma'ullah al-Husna, He said, وَلِلَّهِ الْأَسْمَاءُ الْحُسْنَى فَادْعُوهُ بِهَا. Belong to Allah are the Asma'ul Husna. And he said that the first thing he gave as benefit for that, call him therewith. Call him with them. So call in him by those names. So when you are in need for forgiveness, yes, you can say, oh Allah, you are the strongest, so forgive me. Oh Allah, you are the highest. But it will be better if oh Allah, you are the most forgiving, the most generous, the most halim, forbearing. So you call on the names that fit to you need the ghina, you need richness. Ask Allah, أنت الغني فأغنني. Oh Allah, أنت الكريم فأكرمني. You are the most generous, so be generous to me. You are the most forgiving, forgive me. So that's something that will be actually smart.
What I'm saying is, can you just repeat the name over and over again?
You can also do that without. What is prevented or what is not acceptable is to set certain numbers and certain names and certain times. Like some people would do Allah, Allah, Allah 1,000 times, 1,000,000 times. You can always, that's the best name, that's the highest name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Always call him by his name, Allah, but without having to, you know, after Dhuhr, after Fajr, we get together, we start by saying 10 times Allah and then 50 times Al-Halim. That's a system now, and it's a religious system, and the only one who has this right to do is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through His Prophet. But if it happens just like this, Ya Latif, Ya Latif, Ya Latif, oh Allah, you are Latif, you are Kareem, not a problem. Because those names are meant to call Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala therewith. Now.
This one is, you know how they say the names of Allah, there's like the naked and the sheep. They say it in the tune. This is fine.
Well, what do you think when, I mean, we're trying to think about it together right here. What is the outcome of that?
To purify,
Hmm?
to purify the way they sound.
I mean, what is that? What is that? Well, it first depends on, I mean, I haven't seen it, but maybe somebody down the road or something, or it could probably have happened, he will put it in such a way that will cause people to dance, and he will put a background of that hip-hop music or something. And this way, I mean, it's kind of disrespecting of the names of Allah. But I have seen some beautiful nasheeds, actually. They are done in such a way that really makes you remember the names of Allah, in contact with those names of Allah. So that the idea of beautifying voice with the Quran, with the names of Allah, even with the Quran, because Quran is mainly, it has the names of Allah and more, we are highly recommended to beautify our voice, even if our voice is not as good by nature. It's recommended for the person to try to kind of chant the Quran if you wish. So the names of Allah is comes in that category.
How about when some people name their children these names like Jaleel and Kareem and all those? You have to put Abdul with it, like Abdul Kareem.
Yeah, the best is to Ma Ubbida is the best of names. One of them is to Abdullah, Abdul Rahman, Abdul Mujib, Abdul Raqib, Abdul Jalil, Abdul Hafiz, and so on to them. Lakin, those also are, as we said, adjectives that anybody could be described with. You say Muhammadun Rajulun Kareem, Ali is a generous person. That's Arabic. It's not like Allah did not engrave names of the Arabic words that were not known before. No, they were known and they were used but the thing is, what's not right is to Al, this Al. That's why you see, his name is not Kareem or Mujib. His name is Al-Kareem. That's why always when we discuss, we said Al-Kareem when it comes to the human refers to this and that. But Allah has the perfect. That's why Al is used. Al is the definite article. He is the highest when it comes to karam and so on. The only one that will be probably one of, I'm not sure, maybe Ar-Rahman also, is Allah. Nobody can be called Allah because Allah refers only to Him. Because if you remember the meaning, Allah is the one al-man'ut bi sifat al-jalal wal-kamal alladhi, the one that has all the perfection. So when you say Allah, no other name would refer to that. Ar-Rahim would refer only to mercy. Al-Mujib only to the one who answers this and that, which is perfect name also. But it refers to only one dimension. Allah, it gathers all of them. The one who deserves to have all perfection in terms of karam, generosity, ijabah, responding in rahmah. So nobody can be called Allah. But if it happens that somebody called first, it's haram. But that does not make him God. Or that does not make him Allah. The name, there's a difference between al-ism wal-musamma, the name and what it refers to. If somebody happened to call his son or his daughter Jamil or Jamila, which is like beautiful, handsome, even though he's not handsome, he's actually ugly. I hate to say that, but that doesn't make him Jamil. I mean, to say somebody Wasim also is a common name. Wasim in Arabic is handsome. So if the person happened not to be handsome, it's not because his name is Wasim that he becomes handsome. No. So if somebody even has been given a name Allah, it doesn't make him Allah. So when you call Abdul Kareem Kareem or like, it's not like not a problem with that. Allahu Akbar. Bismillah walhamdulillah wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa man walah. Allahumma allimna asma'aka al-husna ya Rabb al-alameen. Give us the knowledge of your beautiful names ya Rabb al-alameen. Oh Allah, give us the faith in those names. Give us the amal based on those names, Ya Rabb al-Alameen. Make us have the full trust in you and your beautiful names and attributes. Make us have the full faith in those names, Ya Rabb al-Alameen. Oh Allah, forgive us, you are al-Ghafoor. Oh Allah, be generous to us, you are al-Kareem. Oh Allah, أنت غني عن عذابنا فلا تعذبنا يا رب العالمين. Oh Allah, direct us to the best of the ta'at, the best of the obedience and the acts of obedience, Ya Rabb al-Alameen. أجب دعاءنا يا رب العالمين. Answer our questions, and give us and inspire us to ask you the right thing for us, Ya Rabb al-Alameen. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. وجزاكم الله خيرا. May Allah give you the best, inshallah. Did you organize anything to give condolence to Sister Saida or visit her or something? Because this is one of the very dear sister and she's now in need of our help. I would hope if you can probably, Sister Farida or you sisters, maybe one day go to her, give her condolences, check on her every now and then, lady at her age, you would need help.
She has some friends with her from out of town, but she wants to be with them.
Okay.
She was with her and she was going to go and do something with her. So
Okay.
she was trying to get, but I told her if she needs any of us to call, but she's checking on her.
Yeah, every now and then, I mean, if the sisters, each one at least calls on her, maybe visit her even twice a week or something, that will keep her, continuously asking about her and checking on her, inshallah. It should be quick. لا. It's good, it's delicious.
I know, but somebody told me it was makruh, and I was like,
Hanafis, the main, the people from the subcontinent or the followers of Madhab al-Hanafi, they believe that some animals eat, like scavengers, crab and shrimps and stuff, they eat the remainings of the sea, the things in the bottom of the sea. So, logically they said it's just like khinzir or the pig on earth that eats the remains. Yes, that's the rule. It's in water. Anything that's in